What's going on, everybody? So today I'm going to be talking about the brand new album from the band Dynazty. The name of this album is Final Advent, and y'all know it by now. Before I get into that nitty gritty, let's check out the cover. So boom, there it is. Take a look at that. Now, it's a really cool looking cover in my opinion. It's kind of like surrealist or whatnot. I'm not like a art guru or anything, but I think that's the proper term for kind of how this looks. It's like an eagle landing. It looks like on like the top of a mountain peak or something like that. But the way that it is, I don't know if it's like watercolor or something like that. It just really stylized and it looks pretty cool. Like I honestly really do like the look of this cover. I could honestly see it up on a wall, like as an art piece or something like that. So, it looks really, really neat. The colors are really cool. Um, if you're flipping through the CDs at a CD shop, would it stop you in your tracks, and make you look at it more? I'm not 100% sure. It definitely looks cool. It's definitely striking. So it very well may, stop you and it demand further inspection. As far as giving you an idea of what to expect on the album, if you've never heard of Dynazty before and you see this album and you see this cover, it's pretty vague or pretty generic as far as giving you an idea of what style of music to expect on the album. So as far as that goes, I don't think it really conveys what you'll get when you bring it home and pop it on and listen to it. It could really be a multitude of genres, kind of what you get. I would lean toward like rock, kind of like a rock style of sound. So, but yeah, I'm not 100% sold as far as it representing the music that you get. But as far as the art itself, it looks really, really cool. I commend the artist because it definitely is striking. And as I said, I could see it as an art piece kind of up on a wall. So it's a bit of a mixed bag for me. But that's really where the critiques end for this album because this bad boy rocks. It's great. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat here, it certainly exceeded my expectations, and expectations have been high for this thing. I forget when we got the first single, but I feel like it was almost a year ago. So it's been a long time coming, this album, and it does not disappoint. Well worth the wait, but it's got 10 tracks on this bad boy and comes in at about 41 minutes. Great length of time. Nice, concise album where, no time is wasted and it doesn't feel like it drags at any point or kind of just, it pads the length for any reason. No, it's nice and concise. The sound that you're going to get here, lot of keyboard, lot of keyboard synth, kind of electronic sounds going on, and that really, really pumps the energy. It really drives the songs, gives it a real toe tapping kind of feel, a real anthemic sound, a lot of energy. As I said, every single song here, for the most part, is just full of energy. Explosive, electrifying, contagious, infectious, whatever word you want to use to describe it. That's what it is. I could see these songs, it doesn't even need to be, but I could see these songs being remixed for like great dance tunes or, just party anthems and you just chilling, on the dance floor, just, oh man, going to town. But again, it doesn't even need to be remixed for that because you could just play a lot of these songs and you'd be jumping. And I can't imagine, I've never seen a Dynazty live show, but oh, I cannot imagine songs from this album being played live. Just the energy, through the roof, and just everyone having a ball, jumping, fist pumping. It must be incredible. But yeah, so a lot of keyboard and synth and electronic sounds that really give the songs a great flavor, a great energy, a great brightness, pump and rhythm that you just, yeah, just so good. The keyboard work here is just phenomenal, absolutely astonishing. Great job. And the guitar, it's there. It's not really, the guitar provides kind of just this rhythmic guitar work, you know, bass line kind of driving through the songs, while the the keyboard is really, it kind of takes the spotlight. What really is kind of the highlight and the most memorable quality, other than the melodies, of course, but I'm just talking about the instruments themselves. Really, the most memorable quality, and it is what really is the heart and soul of the album. But the guitar is definitely there, and it gives a great backdrop, a great just bass line to kind of drive the songs, even though the keyboard is really driving the songs as well. But the guitar is there, and it just has this nice balance. It adds a nice strength to the song. So the guitar work is really great as well. And the drum work, it just again keeps the toe tapping, keeps that rhythmic pulse pounding nature going of the songs, and just the musicianship in general is just really really tight and interconnected, and they play together so well, and the album is mixed and produced and all that stuff really well. The production is extremely high, so it just all blends together to create this astonishing sound that, again, I keep saying the word energy, but it just is full of energy, full of energy, and it's as if it has nowhere to go but forward, and it takes you with it throughout this whole thing. And the vocals are incredibly dynamic. The music is as well, but the vocals, oh man, he's got just such a great range, a great voice, and you have this pulsing energy, just propelling forward throughout this the whole album, music wise, that it takes a very strong voice to be able to match that and complement that, and he does so in spades. Just really strong, rides along with that current that's just driving through every song, and moves about. Again, great range, great power in his voice, and again, it just matches the music so well, and he definitely commands attention and commands the vocal melodies, so nothing gets lost. You're really digging the musical melodies, the musical aspects, and you're also just right there with him as he's riding this current and delivering incredible, catchy and melodic vocal lines and vocal melodies, and every chorus is just anthemic and catchy and melodic, and you just really gravitate to it. And again, it's just infectious. It's just so infectious, and just so much fun. Just so much fun, and you can't help but your heart kind of start pounding to the rhythm of the music and the melodies, and just really, really great stuff. I cannot praise the musicianship and the vocals and the songwriting enough. Every single song could have been a single, and speaking of singles, half this album literally was released as a single, and that's really how long this bad boy has been gestating or whatnot before we got the full release. So, but yeah, it's just that good. But it starts out with Power of Will, which was released as a single, and it just lets you know right off the rip what to expect. That energy and the keyboard and everything just hits you right there, and the vocals, it's just really, really solid. A great way to start the album. The Advent kind of starts out with a little bit of a heavier vibe, but the guitar is taking a little bit of the forefront, especially in the beginning. And it's like, okay, they mean business here. If you didn't get that idea from the first song, it's like, no, they mean business, and it's getting serious. And if you're not already all in for the ride, you are by now. And it's just the second song. Track 4, Yours, is really, I would say, the closest to a ballad that you get. Although it's not quite a ballad, it's still just full of just such energy and such a, um, it's hard to come up with more words than the ones that I've already used. But yeah, it's the closest thing to a ballad, and it's just full of emotion and uh, and energy. I don't know what you folks want from me. It's a very energetic album. I'll try not to use that word anymore, and I'll just leave it at that. But great song. It goes into, and then you get track 7, Instinct, which is a real groovy kind of song and a little on the naughty side. So, make sure your parents aren't listening to you, or don't hear you listening to that song, or they might ship you off to Bible camp on the spot. But the great song. Um, and track 9, Achilles Heel, kind of changes things up a little bit by giving a little bit of a darker, a little bit of a gothic tinge to it by having a riff kind of ripped straight out of Phantom of the Opera. But again, the chorus is incredibly bright and melodic, and the whole album, when I say darker and gothic, nothing about this album really is dark or anything. Every note and every melody is very bright, and I was going to use that word again, the word that I said I wouldn't use anymore, but just bright and pulsing, and it just really positive. I can't see somebody feeling down while listening to this album. And if you are down, it's a great album to listen to really lift your spirits right back up and just get you loving life all over again. It closes out really strong with track 10, Power of Now, which just kind of follows suit with the rest of the songs. You're not really going to get anything here that surprises you. Once you've heard the first couple tracks, that's really what you can expect throughout the whole album. Like I said, there's not too much of a surprise anywhere in here, but there's enough diversity where every song still has its own personality, even though it fits within the unified sound of the album. So very consistent and just great all around. I love this thing even more than I thought I would. It's definitely joining the ranks of some of the other incredible albums released this month, and the folks over at Dynazty have really outdone themselves here. It's just great. I can't state that enough. Really reminds me of how I felt when, not to draw too many comparisons here, but it's got a similar sound to the first couple albums of Beast in Black, especially the second one, because the first one was a little more guitar heavy. The second one, they really incorporate a lot more of the keyboard influences and stuff like that. But so it doesn't lean as much into kind of like an 80s vibe. It's much more of a modern vibe, but there's definite comparisons to be drawn. So it kind of reminds me of how I felt listening to when the first Beast in Black album came out. And there were a couple songs on there that really incorporated that keyboard and synth vibe, and especially the second album. And it's like, oh man, it's just so good. Really kind of reminded me of that and reinvigorated that sound and that style for me, because it had grown a little. I had grown not fatigued, but you started hearing copycats or things similar to that kind of style. And when it's not all spectacular, it can wear a little thin, and it's like, all right, this is just kind of riding that train. But this here, no, this is top notch. This is up there. Any fans of that sound will just be over the moon. It's just incredible. Really, really great. I truly cannot praise this thing enough. I always try to come up with some kind of critiques or, I listen closely, but zero, zero negatives to say about this album. None. None whatsoever. It's excellent from start to finish. And I enjoyed my time with it every single listen, and I'm going to continue to listen to it. That is for darn sure. So, my opinion on this thing, superb. Superb. Any power metal fans, melodic metal fans, melodic rock fans, even hard rock fans, anything in that vein, do not miss this thing. I'm sure you've already listened to it already, but if you haven't, don't sleep on it. This is a fantastic album that is for sure going to be in folks' top lists of the year. I can see it happening already. It's just dynamite, dynamite. So yeah, as far as if you haven't listened to it yet at all, and another thing I was going to say actually, forgive me, is every single song is so good and memorable and catchy that it gets stuck in your head until the next song. Because in that one, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, okay, this one's now stuck in my head, and I love this song. Until the next one, and then it's like, oh, now this one's just replaced the previous one. It just kind of continues like that. And this kind of brings me to what I was going to say is if you just got to give the album one chance, one song to determine if you want to hear the whole thing. At the end of the day, I found myself, after the whole album was finished and I'd go about my business doing whatever, the one song that still just kind of stuck with me over all of the others was track 3, Natural Born Killer, which was also released as a single. So I would say go with that one. Not necessarily because that one's the best. It's hard to say what song on this album is the best because there are so many that are just up there. I'd say there's many that are the best. But that one for me just best encapsulates the feeling of the whole album and the melodic nature of it, the anthemic quality, and the pulse pounding, toe tapping feeling of the whole album. And the whole album itself will stick with you. But for whatever reason, that one is the one that I'm always left kind of singing in my head, even once the whole album's done. So I would say go with that one because it just represents the album really, really well. I could pick so many songs here, but I can only pick one to fully recommend to give you the vibes of the album. So that's the one I'm going to go with. Natural Born Killer. As I said, it was released as a single. Check it out. But more importantly than that, just check out the whole album. What can I say? You're hearing it from Power Metal Ranger headquarters directly. Just check out this album. Simple as that. What more can I say? Let me know in the comments down below what you all think of this album. I know we've all been waiting for this thing for quite some time. Did it live up to your expectations? Are you loving it? Let's talk about it. And that's what I got for y'all today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all next time. Ranger, out.